Hello there. Tonight, I took my tiny head to see Texas Chainsaw 3D. Now, first, here's the non-spoiler part of my review. First and foremost, if you go to see it in the theater, stay through the end credits because there is a bonus scene that's worth seeing. Now, I thought the movie started out as good. I was thinking through the first half that it was a very worthy sequel. But as it got into the second half, I felt that it digressed into your average horror movie. So it did not raise the bar, in my opinion. I also felt that it started to steal plot points from another popular horror franchise, and that is just a no-no in my opinion. Now for the spoiler part. So this is your warning. Spoilers are coming up. So now's your chance to stop the video and walk away if you don't want anything to be spoiled. Okay, so the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which this is a sequel to, at the beginning of the movie it gives the date that it started, August 18th, 1973. Now you don't even have to rewatch the original because this movie opens with scenes from the original. It shows you that it's a direct sequel. Now, the date is referenced later in the movie that this takes place, or the opening scenes that are new in this movie take place on August 19th, where the girl that's the main character in this movie was a baby. So we flash forward and we find out that, she's about 20 years old or whatever. So you assume, doing some easy math, if the other one was in August 18th, 19th, 1973, that obviously this one's around 1993-94. You assume that. And for the first half of the movie, you can assume that, because there's nothing to indicate that this is a present-day movie. I mean, none of the kids have cell phones. Nobody talks about Facebook. Nobody talks about how there's no cell reception where they are, etc., etc. But in the second half of the movie, a police officer breaks out an iPhone and does FaceTime with the mayor. And I just thought that was kind of unnecessary. Because we could have believed it was 1993 the whole time and it would have been fine. But all of a sudden, it's now, 2012, 2013, and this girl is clearly not 30 years old. Another thing that bothered me about this movie is that there were too many incidents with cars. Like, this movie leads you to believe that it's a common occurrence for kids to walk out in front of moving cars and just get up and dust themselves off. I mean, we know that, not being able to run without falling and tripping in the woods is a horror cliche, but that should not be the same for being hit by cars. I read a review on Flickster that I agreed with. Peter Howell of the Toronto Star said, "An effort is made to provide some character definition for Leatherface, which is probably a mistake. He's much scarier as a cipher." And I agree with this review. I don't think that Leatherface is someone that we should be sympathetic with, regardless of his reasons. I mean, he's insane. Only insane people do the stuff that he does. But this movie leads you to sympathize with him. And the girl, once she finds out that she's related, even though he just killed her friends, and she reads that you know, he did all those horrible things to those people 20 years ago, I guess. She is then more focused on the people that killed Leatherface's family. And that just does not make any sense to me, that you just saw your friend slaughtered by someone, but because he's your cousin, you're going to take his side. That just doesn't jive with me. So, you know, if you want to see it, if you're a fan of the franchise, go see it. Decide for yourself. But for me personally, this does not measure up in the end as a sequel worthy of that franchise.